Now this is the beginning of the stairway to the lab. Now to my right, it will be a small machine shop. So the tools are coming up on Monday. So let's go upstairs. I'll give you a quick look of what the inside of the lab look. It's almost finished. And those are the toys I play with. As you can see, we're still under construction, but the place is fairly almost finished. And here's the first, of course we still have the construction, our first office. As you can tell, it's white. We like the white so we can see everything. And our second office is not finished, but that just need the light to be put on and putting all the furniture in the right place, as you can see. And then we have the conference room, which the floors still have to be done, so we have a little bit of work left here. And it's a very large conference room. We have lots of room for showing tests and calculations. Since we have wall we can write on, we don't have to have whiteboard. All the wall in the office you can write on with a dry marker, as you can see. So this is a conference room. Now I'm going to sweep you a little bit what I'm doing. That's my bench, the most messiest bench on art. It's mine. I like to have my tools around me and to look at total chaos. That's the only way I can work, is in total chaos. So those are a few equipment we have. We're going to put, like, we order a whole bunch of equipment. So this is the Outrunner. As you can see, that's the one we are working on to make a self-loop with this here, which the magnet wheel flywheel for the 1500 watt generator, which this here will turn and be self-loop and turn by itself and still produce 1200 watt to be usable. Now the controller we're using so far are Anaheims, and but we're still waiting for the sensor. Those are all Anaheim products. They're promising us a lot of, it will work, so we're just waiting for the sensor so I can add the sensor and to this motor here. Sorry for all the shaking and stuff like this with my camera here, but those are the sensor the motor used, but those one, they're not the right sensor for the Anaheim controller, so we'll have to order one. Actually, we'll order a 100 sensor, and we're going to be getting mine hopefully running soon we get a sensor. That's the only thing I'm missing on mine. This one is the one from Toronto. I'm in Toronto lab right now. So, and I'm making a skeleton motor and generator, so people have no They can see everything turning with no shroud, no nothing. The shaft, everybody will be, everything will be exposed. So it's not going to be no Houdini. So when the thing run by itself, that's meaning it run by itself. So it's no more F button, whatever. And self-looping, those outrunner, it's very simple when you have the controller who actually gives you the capability of spinning that motor properly. There's a lot of people out there who have talked about, yeah, it's easy to build a controller, it's easy to build a controller, but so far, you know what? No one ever put one together who actually work the way we want to work. So now we're having other people who are working on controllers. So it's China. They can build us motor exactly like those one. What, you know, we can get them built 5 feet, 4 feet diameter, 10, 15-inch thick with a drum magnet, and the stator all built from those guys. So 2 companies that are working with us, when they're talking to us, when they say they have no problem of manufacturing any type of motor and any size of motor. Since those motors are used for hydro dam to produce high frequency, high voltage DC currents. That's what all the big power dam now they're using for generator is those outrunner, drum outrunner, and because they produce a high voltage immediately right off the generator. Some generator they can produce as much as over 50,000 volt, maybe more. So far, all I found out is some generator at a 55,000 volt output, and that's directly from the primary generator. So we know now we can manufacture a lot of volt from those outrunner, which I did a test in my place already, and I find out the voltage, it's unbelievable, comes out of that. So, and it is not too hard to turn it. So my next test will be when I do the test of running with this generator here, then I will remove the generator and put another outrunner slightly smaller on the other side, see if I can produce 14,004 or 7,002 volts, and I will be able to dump that into a very small transformer, which I order from the States. There are those little guys. They are 1.5 kV at 120. So if I dump in the primary 7,002, then I will have 120 out at 1.5 kV at the rate of the transformer. So at that point in time, we should be able to multiply and multiply and multiply, since we're having the high voltage dumping with potential. The potential is very simple. It's almost like a watt, because we're running everything in your house do not run with electricity. They run with radio wave. And that's the reason this tiny McCulloch generator, it creates a high frequency I call them wild current, because it's a bipolar. And it's got what we call not oscillation, it's got a resonance in its currents. And as you can see, I'm going to try to give you a good view. It's a 1200 watts generator. It runs with a 3-horse Briggs & Stratton. And I'm not having a problem. I'm looking for parts because my carburetor in the tank just conks out. It's too dirty. We can't clean it. So I'm looking for another motor to give the demonstration with a 3-horse. So far with this 3-horse, before he died on me, I was running those 25 kVA can, as you can see here. And I was plugging the generator directly into this plug, right, which goes directly to the 25 can on the low end, on one of the legs. That's X1, X2, which is your neutral, and X3, which is your other 120. So 120, 120 neutral. The current at that point in time get from 120 volt through the transformer, which transformer is a kind of a funny word, is actually two antennas on the top of each other, and the jump from low voltage, the resonate the plate, the aluminum plate, and transfer into the high voltage coils on the outside of the wrapping, which comes up through the top of the horn at 14,400 volts, and it goes into the second transformer on the top on the entry on the high end at 14,400 volts. And then from there I'm splitting it, sorry for that. From there I'm back into a 25 can. I have 120 coming up from X1, neutral X2, 120 volt on X3. So those transformers, they're just regular transformers directly from a company in BC, and those are regular transformer. You got on the top of the pole there if you have a 25 kVA service. So, and then from that, I push 1200 watts into the main 25 can, and on the output of the other one, I was getting 7,000 watts under load. I was running this little stove we have here temporary for cooking our meal, since we're far away from the city, and I was running the whole top at 240, all four elements, better than what is plugged into the wall. So my current is actually more stable for some reason. And you have to really understand the multiplication of voltage and wattage happen inside those antennas. It's no connection to touch the high voltage to the low voltage. It's all done by induction. And an induction is very simple. An induction means wireless transfer. That means no wire is connected together. It's a transfer, it's a radio transfer between the two coils. Everybody is talking about the flux and this and that. Well, the flux is very simple. It's a word they just put there. You have a meaning, but it doesn't fit the action. So in that point in time, we are working. I got $30,000 with a transformer, and I have two more 50 can in the shop. I have 14,000 volt capacitor, which are those guys here, which I will put in the line to give him just a stabilization of it clean up the high voltage. We got, I think, 10 of those caps. We have 5 small transformer, 5 transformer. We have 4, I believe, 3 50 cans, 1 75 Ks, 2 25 Ks, and I have in the shop in the back I got a giant 250 3-phase transformer, which I do test also, but that one is 2,000 pounds, so I can't really move it really easy by myself, so I have to go to the other shop. But it tells you what we're doing at that place. It's just a small video, and of course we also do hydroponic with fish fertilizer, so we are doing some tests with some fish in the water, and here's my penthouse. That's where I come up, and I go and rest. Instead of doing the motel and the hotel, I'll show you. It's very simple. It's a man cave type of thing. I don't think women would like it at this point in time, but for me and the guy we're working, we can dig it. Here's the top view of the lab from my penthouse. I call it a penthouse because it's kind of a little penthouse. The kitchen still have to be finished here, the light have to be installed, and the floor have to be finished. So we still have a bit of construction here. And then we can put all the furniture in. Here's the bedroom of the master. This is my bedroom. That's where I come up and crash. So it's pretty straightforward. So now we're out of the bedroom, and that's the view from the other side at the top. And this is another bedroom here for guests. You know, I got my friends in there right now, one of the worker here, and I'll give you another good view of the lab. And look at the ceiling. We have lots of light if we want. We can't. We're not in the position to be able to look at stuff. We need lots of lights. I put lots of light in this lab. Lots of room. Is over, I would say, just the floor, the lower floor has got to be at least 2,000 square feet at minimum. So it's a great place. It's quiet. We're out of the city. We don't have anything to really to be afraid of. So, and there it is. That's the lab I'm working for, folks. Hi, it's me again. Sorry for that. I'm just trying to do this video here before I go back to Vancouver tonight. I'm leaving at 6 o'clock for a couple of weeks, and I'm coming back to see if we can finish, get some proper tests done, and then make some more video. But in the last I would say 3 to 4 weeks, I discovered something. It was kind of a fluke, I guess, because I've been trying to understand why, you know, when I make my loop pump, you know, the standing loop pump, when I'm turning on the top of my coffee table there, and everybody's trying to power the house for that. You know, I'm not trying to do that, but the tools, it's like a tools to study what the current, how the current behave and all that. And it's, I was, you know, I've been lighting up burnt fluorescent, and I'm holding burnt, and I'm burning a 60-watt bulb and a full power, and I can put my finger across the 2 wires, and I'm not getting any shock. And when you're getting a shock, if you have, you know, you're touching the 2 wires and there's no load, you became the load, you just get a real bad zap, but no burn on your finger. And I was, you know, I just, like, you know, everybody's shaking their head, what type of current is that? And then I'm doing some research, and, you know, I keep saying it's got to be something, it's like a transfer, it's a wireless transfer of energy, but this energy can go through you and not hurt you. Well, I find out why. You know, I can light up everything and stuff like that. So when we use magnet, it's created bupolar current. This bipolar current is called RF, radio frequency. At radio frequency, we can light up everything. Matter of fact, your whole house almost run on radio frequency, because they call it AC currents. But if you take a RF wave and you take an AC wave and you overlap it over each other, they're just like a fingerprint, they're a perfect match. So somewhere, somehow, they're calling the same frequency, the same wave signal, RF and AC. Now, I don't know the whole system of that, but I mean, like, you know, you either suck or blow. So you can't have 2 names for one signal. So someone there is playing game. So I decided not to get rid of it, of the calculation of AC currents, because I believe AC current do not exist. It's RF wave. They just put a funny name on it for you not to be able to pick up the right calculation, so you can multiply the wattage potential. It's called wattage. Okay, it's nothing else but, you know, it's very simple. Now, by doing that, by removing the AC calculation, which doesn't apply for RF calculation, then no one can actually come up with a calculation to increase, to multiply the watt. They can only multiply the volts. Well, the volt is very simple. I can take a 9-volt battery and make 2 million volts out of it.
stun gun. That's 2 million volt comes out of those stun gun. So, I mean, it's only a 9-volt battery, so we all know voltage, we can multiply that. But no one can achieve to multiply wattage, because you don't have amp. Amp do not exist in oscillated currents. It's watts. Amp comes from a battery, which a battery the current is not a movement, is a stop current. It do not move, it's a resistance. Then you have amp. But soon you put a signal into the current, either AC signal, RF signal, square wave signal, or amp pulse signal, the amp converted itself to watts. And it stays like this. And it doesn't go back to amp. So if you want to multiply, if you think about multiply watt, then use the multiplication in RF signal, which is a communication signal. We're using RF is a natural frequency. We're living in a linear world. This means linear communication world. Also, it means we have millions of frequency. And it's linear. It goes around the planet, follows, and it's millions of layers of those frequency of different level. And those are the frequency, and it goes through us constantly, every day in our life, 24/7. They don't affect our body. Some frequency will, but the natural RF frequency do not hurt your bodies. That's why I can light up fluorescent with my hand and pushing the power through me, because I'm pushing radio frequency through me. And that's what fluorescent lights up. So from the first time we were trying to figure out, we did a lot of research, especially I did a lot of research from trials and error and understanding the results. Even if it's a bad result, it's still information you get from your test. Information is very valuable. Even if the result didn't come good, I'm thinking, oh, this thing didn't work. But at least now you can study why it did not work. Now researching, to create energy, to manufacture energy, because I can't call it electricity anymore, because it's not electricity. It's fairly simple if you use the right recipe book. You can't make a pie if you're reading the recipe book how to cook a roast. And that's exactly what we have today. They gave us the calculation, to cook a roast when we tried to do a pie. And the calculation gets you into nowhere. So Newton, with his calculation, you cannot get more than what you put in. Of course, it's applied to that because it's the wrong recipe. All you have to do is shake your head a little bit and say, okay, let's use the calculation in RF. Let's find out the equation of RF. How can we multiply RF? And suddenly your calculation, whoa, that's possible. Understanding how those can here, right? How they function, how they react to everything. It's very, very important. For us, doing this test and to any lab, it's fairly expensive. First thing, time-wise. Building, we have in this building, my friend have almost $360,000 involved in this building, in this lab, to make this lab look like this so far. And we're probably going to have to put another, I would say another $150,000, $200,000 by the time we put all the tools in. So research is not cheap. And this is probably one of the cheapest lab and the cheapest research we're putting together here. Because we try to be, the money we spend has got to show something in the end of the day. And that's what we do. That's what I do, research. And it's on a smaller scale, bigger scale, and I work on a 2 different systems. I work on the high frequency generators, because now we know it's RF signal we have to create. And this RF signal we have to manage, not electricity. And that's the only reason now I can put 1200 watt in one of those transformers and get 7,000 watt at 240. So I double my volt. I went from 120 to 240. So this is a multiplication of 2, and then my wattage is almost a multiplication of 6 times. Now the next generator I'm going to get with the high frequency and manage high frequency and turning into a high volt DC, and then I'm going to be building a rotary point system which have no rings. You will not create a ring of fire. It's a new system I designed, and I can spin and create a 60 hertz with not losing and not creating a heat of fire or heating up the cylinder. And I will be producing that probably by the end of next month. So now with that I will be able to manufacture DC high voltage impulse, which impulse is on off. You cannot do that with a square wave. You cannot achieve that with a electronic inverter or any electronic device, because the full power have to go through the switching system. So you have your potential, the amperage getting multiplied by the first transformer as you push in. So at that point in time, when we get all that, we're going to be using the same system. Then Hydro Toronto, BC Hydro, Quebec Hydro, every place make hydro use impulse to be able to transmit long distance. If you have a square wave, your wave is attached to each other. That means you have a rheostat, a dead, a rheostat, and that take away from the resonance of the current. The impulse is just like a telegraph current. It's just bang, 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 60 times. It's like just taking a wire and hitting the circuit 60 times a second, on, off, on, off. So when it's off, it doesn't have that rheostat bar and the rheostat up, rheostat down function. It's totally clean on, off. And that gave you maximum resonance when you come to that point. When you push that into a transformer, then the plate really vibrate, and more the plate vibrate, more potential you create, more watts you're pushing up on a high voltage. More watt you're pushing on a high voltage, more watt you'll be able to produce out of your transformer. So, I mean, people don't believe me and stuff like that. That's fine. I mean, like, you know, they don't believe me, but they're not capable of putting anything together, right? I mean, those are the type of people, they phone, a road assist, you know, to change a flat tire when they have all the wrench and the spare wheels in their own car, you know, and they don't even know what to do. They don't even know, some people, you know, they say, oh no, that's not going to work. They can't open their own hood in their own vehicle because they don't have the knowledge. But they're all book smart, right? But they don't have any knowledge whatsoever when it comes to practice. Knowledge in a book is only good. That's only 10%. You know, when you want to have experience, you can't buy experience. I don't know where you can buy experience. There's no store who sell experience unless you do the job yourself and you work and you find out it's working or not working, what effect it does. You know, calculating the effect, studying the effect, how it works. You know, over unity is not an issue anymore. If there's anybody having an issue with over unity, then they have shit for brain, literally. Because over unity has been broken off a long time ago. Matter of fact, we've been doing over unity since day one, since we're manufacturing currents. You know, if a power dam is not over unity, I don't know what the hell that means. Because no one is paying for the water, you know, for the volume of water going through the turbine. You put the system in, the water is free. That's free energy, as far as I'm concerned. I don't know, you know, people, you know, free, it's not free. Well, no, the system costs, but the system gets itself paid really fast, especially at the price of the energy we're buying today. So, you know, it's sad because electricity barely costs nothing to manufacture, you know, or, you know, what we use for lighting up our house costs barely nothing to manufacture, and the distribution is just maintenance. So we've been being ripped off by every single government across this country, you know, and across other countries. All countries have the same problem. The government is just eating and eating and eating because the government owns all the power, all the energy. I mean, you can put all the name of different companies, they're just puppet. They're controlled by the government, right? Because if you need a little license to operate in your business, you don't own your business. You're just a manager of the business, and you're not the president, you're the vice president, because they own you. It's that simple. But if we can create our own energy, and then, you know, a motor, and I can have motor built up to move any equipment, plane, train, boat, you name it, car, motorcycle, bicycle. We can use those motors everywhere. The outrunners, they're the most efficient motor in the world. And if anybody have any say about it, then I like to have it here in the front of the camera with witnesses and explain to me why those motors are not efficient, since they've been using it for 50 years and they're replacing the other motor with those motors when the other type of motor cannot sustain the stress. Those motors can take it. And if they're really, really cheap to build, they're a fraction of the price of building a regular electric motor. So, I mean, why are we hiding all that? What's the corporation, the government is hiding? So, you know, we were watching, and I was telling him to a friend of mine, I said, Bluetooth. I said, Bluetooth is almost turned off. I said, you can open Bluetooth, Bluetooth can go for hundreds of miles. All you have to do is open up Bluetooth. Well, now you can go into the internet and people finding a device to block Bluetooth for transmitting any further. And it's all over the internet. And Bluetooth can be open. I mean, like, you know, same thing with Wi-Fi. We can get 165 miles connection with Wi-Fi now. You know, people are building stuff. So the government and the industry, they work together to keep you stupid, to keep you down, not to give you the technology we're paying for. Believe me, you are paying for this energy and all the development. And then guess who gets it? The government and the large industry, and you do not get nothing of that technology. You know, and you paying for it. You the sucker. You know, literally the word fit. You the sucker who's paying for all the garbage we having and all the good stuff they having, we paying for also. So when's the suckers going to wake up? Because I wake up a long time ago. So I just want to find out when you guys are going to wake up. Because if you don't wake up pretty soon, you know, you're going to find yourself in a hell of a trouble. Because this energy you guys using out, guess who's controlling it? One guy, one keystroke, and he turns your power off. And when you turn your power off, he turns everything off. So if you don't have energy, right, you SOL, and look it up what SOL means, shit out of luck, because you have no power, and they go control that. You have to understand, Canada just finalized, you know, martial law in Canada. Why the hell we need martial law in Canada? I guess something is coming, right? Why they would even go to martial law in Canada? Canada's never been in war with anybody. Oh yeah, they've been screwing people so bad, now they're afraid of the civilization to have a revolution. That's why. All those brand new Target store was built across Canada. $38 billion Target spent apparently. Open store, start the store, open it up, right? And 5 months later, close all the store across Canada. Well, I have a little news for you. Those are not stores. They're called Remand Center. They took Target and they used Target, the name of Target, to build those buildings. And they're not store. They were stored just as so people don't panic for Canada building all those big remand centers across the country. Now, if you look at all those buildings, they have no windows. They're remand centers. Only one door in, one door out, and one fire door in the back. So you can store a lot of people in those buildings. Same thing was going on with Walmart in the States. Same thing again. So people cannot wake up and see what's going on, and it's because there be either overflow, right? They became zombie. They do what they've been told because we're living in a dictatorship. Now, some states and some places in Canada, you're not allowed to disconnect from the grid. Now, who gave the right to tell someone it's not allowed to disconnect from the grid? Now, if that's not monarchy and dictatorship, It's not communist, because communist doesn't give a shit if you're connecting to the power or not. If you're connected to power, you better pay. If you're not connected to the power, then who cares? But here, to be told we cannot disconnect from the grid, that's dictatorship, you know, and monarchy. And I cannot digest that. I will put this power up that I hand to people, so everybody's got it. And I'm going to make it as cheap as possible, so even third world country will have energy, and they can multiply their energy anytime they want. The unit will run by itself. We can build them whatever size of output we want, and then we can multiply from there. So, I mean, this is the deal. I mean, it's real. It works. And anybody or have problem with that, then have the ball to come and take a look and put your finger on it. Oh, that's right. You're too chicken. You're not going to do that because you're just behind the curtain and you're yapping your mouth, you know. It's not working, it's not working. And then you get those, we call them mold on the internet, or they sit for 24/7, 8 hours shift. You know, every time there's a comment, someone do a comment on my video, they goes there and they put, no, I can't be working, stuff like that. Well, I have a friend, they actually timed those guys to the 24-hour period. So you telling these people stay up 24 hours? No, the government pay those people. It's 3 8-hour shift on that site, period. You know, it's getting pretty bad when the government, you know, is trying to crush your idea. You know, if you have an idea, do you want to bring an idea to people, and they try to crush it down by putting all those idiots out there, you know, and paying them to put stuff on the internet, say, oh yeah, that's not working and stuff like that. So, but it doesn't really bother me at that point in time. You know, the reason it doesn't bother me because the peon, the nobody. I mean, I do not respect anybody, you know, who take money from people and laugh about it and steal. You know, I do not, you know, to me those people, they're nothing. You know, they're disease, they're parasite of this planet, as far as I'm concerned. You know, and hopefully by giving people free energy and free way, they can move the vehicle, they don't need no fuel, they don't need no gas, I mean, the whole energy industry, I'm taking that off. It will be totally self-sufficient. You'll be able to drive your car as long as you want till the wheels falls off. You won't have to stop to recharge it. You will be able to fly, you know, in the air and stay in the air as long as you want to. You really have to go out to come down. Unless the plane fall apart. I don't build a plane. I will just build a motor for it. And it will be a real motor. It will run, and it will run by itself. You know. So when you remove that energy, the amount of money that's charging you for energy is ridiculous. So if you remove that from their hand, they have no more powers. They're broke. They cannot eat the next day because they're so broke. If they don't collect the tax, you leave on the tax they're collecting every day, they wouldn't have no money to function because they have to borrow. How much money the world's been borrowing against each other? Every single country, they're in debt up their eyeball to each other. So I mean, like, you know, I'm not a rocket scientist here. You know, look around you. Everybody's in debt. You know, Canadians are the most debt person per person than the United States. We have more debt. It's all behind a smoke screen. Everybody think, you know, they're doing really well. They got the brand new car, you got the brand new house, they got the job. But if the job stopped tomorrow, then 3 months later they don't have a brand new truck, they don't have a brand new house, they're living underneath a bridge somewhere, right? So what does the system tells you? It tells you, like, you're working and you will never be able to afford and pay a house out. Right? It's very simple. You cannot pay your house. Calculate the way you want. I don't care if you pay for 20 years. Your house have to be remortgaged every 7 years or every 12 years. Every time you remortgage, you start all over again. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick to bring everybody in debt, so they have to work for the government because you have to live, you have to have power, so you have to go to work, you have to be a slave. We're living in a modern slavery. I mean, everybody who works, you know, they're a modern slave, Well, you know what a modern slave is? He's got 3 weeks holiday pay holiday. That's a modern slave. Beside that, if you want to see zombies, go on the top of an overpass on any highways, and you will see 6 o'clock in the morning, the highways bumper to bumper. Those are zombies. They're all going to work. Then they come back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Oh, the zombies are coming back now. You know, they're all coming back, bumper to bumper. What kind of life is that? You know, I just don't get it. What kind of life is that? We are zombies. If you accept it, that's what you are. You know, you don't think, you want to go home, have a meal, watch some TV, play with the kid maybe, and then go to bed and start all over. And some people have 2 jobs. Some people have 3 jobs. And they still can't make the end meet. The cost of living is out ridiculous. I mean, you're walking out of the grocery store with $200 of grocery with 4 little bags in your finger. Like, what is that? You know? I mean, stuff you're buying in the store is so overpriced. It's made in China for like 30 cents a piece, and here they sell them for about $25. You know? And it's garbage. I mean, China, don't get me wrong, they do make some high-end, but the people who order the material or the goods in China, they're brokers, and they're greedy motherfucker, because they made sometime over 12 to 1500% profit before you even go to your hand. So you have to pay that motherfucker, so, you know, 1200% profit when he did absolutely nothing besides sit in his chair and play in a computer. Any broker should not make more than 5%. 5%. A warehouse, now a warehouse make more money warehousing good than the manufacturer makes. It's crazy. All those people, the middlemen, they're the one that are making millions of dollars, and then you have to pay them for their nice yacht and their nice private jet and their boat and on their car and on stuff and their big $3, $4, $10 million house. You're the suckers paying for all that because you let that happen. Because you're too naive or too stupid, you know, you don't want, you know, or you don't have absolutely no balls. You know, you have, like I said before, ballless society. Only someone who have absolutely no balls will live in a society like this and say nothing and say everything is pretty, everything is quick, everything is good, you know. I mean, when the people is going to grow some balls and say enough is enough, you know, and then stand beside me. I don't want people to stand behind me. Those are the cowards behind me. I want people to stand beside me and say, hey, enough is enough. You know, it's a better thing out there than your bullshit, and it's for real. So, but anyway, and I want to apologize to be so long without doing a video. And I just wanted to show you what I've been doing for the last 3 months. You know, I've been very quiet because I did a lot of research, a lot of finding about transformer. Some transformer will react the way I want, some doesn't. That would the way they were wind up inside is different. They use different style of transformer inside. So, I mean, like, those are all the stuff you cannot get information from anybody who built transformer. And I think the company who built transformer, they're either liars or they're totally fucking stupid, because we order transformer and we have a bitch of a time to have transformer done the way we want. It seems to be as a law, you cannot make this transformer do that. It's against the law. Well, we're not connecting to the grid here. I can do whatever I want. I don't give a damn which way I want the transformer to be wind up the way I want, so I have maximum amplification. But I guess all those transformer companies who wind transformer, they must be scared of the government, or they have a contract with the government and they can't do it because all we got is the run around and yes, we can help you, no, we cannot help you, yes, we can do that, no, we can't do that, and it's just a waste of time. So I'm telling you, for all the transformer winder over there, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you're a bunch of ballless. You have no balls. And the next thing I'm going to do is we're purchasing our own winding machine, and we're going to rewind all our transformer the way I want it. So then, when that's done, I'm going to open up company will actually wind up transformer properly to do multiplication. And then you guys can go and close your door because no one will buy any transformer for you because your transformer don't do the multiplication the way it's supposed to do. So either wake up, smell the coffee, or well, you will be closing your door. It's that simple. You know, how you keep this unit small and cheap, everybody can build it. I want everybody, as most people as possible, backyard guy, small shop, big shop, to manufacture that. Let them manufacture, because you know what? If you can only control the cost of good, right? If you have other people, we call that, I can't find the name now, but right now it's, what you said when you have many companies building the same competition. If you don't have competition, you have no control over the price. You know? And people try to control how to build that, they won't. Because if I ever hear someone is trying to control another guy, you can't build that, I will go and definitely burn this place down. There ain't going to be no question asking. When I find out, I don't care what part of the world it is, if someone is trying to control other people to manufacture that, I will definitely go there and deal with it. And it will be dealt properly. It won't be no court case. It won't be no dragging to the government to another bunch of liars and stuff like this. The problem will be solved right away. One thing my dad teach me when I was a kid, if you don't want people around you, burn the damn building with the hiding into it. When they have no place to hide, they cannot be around you. That's how you find ruin in Rome. That was not war against other country. The people burned the city down. So all those people who were feeding on the peasant, well, they have no place to hide, so they were killed. And they ran away like a bunch of roaches, because that's what they are, those people, the cockroaches. Just when you turn the light on in the buildings, got roaches. When you turn the light, they all go and run away and hide in the corner. That's what those people are. You know, they're not people, they're not human, they're garbage. And those garbage have to be removed from our equation of life. You know, but hopefully that will help doing that, and I'm going to be working on that pretty hard so we get everything all done up for this fall. So at this fall we'll have everything up. I will have more video coming in soon. Now we're going to do some tests pretty much regularly, almost every 2 weeks. I'm going to keep everybody online, what I'm doing, what I'm using, what the difference. I will be opening transformer and putting the inside on the table. You know, those transformers are not cheap, but I'm going to take some and put it on the side and explain how transformer works, not the way they tell you it works, because it's a bullshit story. You know, they try to put you to sleep again. So at that point in time, it's just a quick video here. By myself right now, everybody's gone, so that's why I take this opportunity, it's quiet, and to do this video. And hopefully it helps people understand what I'm doing, and just keep in tune, guys. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to do some travel pretty soon, probably to Australia, and to set another lab in Australia right away, and then probably one in Fiji, and then I'm going to go back, you know, in BC and Canada to set up another small lab, smaller lab than this one, but a private lab for myself and maybe one person working inside the lab. And because we working also on communication system, working on frequency, who actually heals tissue, human tissue, bones, takes pains away. It's a frequency, it's an RF frequency. Everything is frequency. I mean, like, you know, if you don't work with frequency, with RF frequency, you're actually working with nothing, because it's all around you. You know, it's a simple system. It's been here since the world exists. You know, Tesla tapped into it, and then everybody was giving up all kinds of different words for it, but it's just an RF frequency, and it's everywhere. I mean, there's a multiple level of RF frequency, not just one. It's many layers of RF frequency. So just at that point in time, I was going to let that with you guys to chew on, and maybe do a little study, which I have some people who does R&D already in labs, and they agree with me. It's RF frequency at that point in time, so I feel confident so far to say it's RF frequency. And anybody can call it whatever they want. I'll call it my way, because I know how the results come. So anyway, that's all, guys. And like I said, we start playing with the big boys toy. When we start playing with 75 and 250 can, yeah, it's not small power anymore. And I'm also working on on the same property. I'm going to be creating 20 megawatt of energy. This is for running a small city, all at once. So this here, the test for calculation, and then after that, the sky is the limit, my friend. So thank you very much, and we will talk soon again. Probably in 2 to 3 weeks, I will have another video, and I will have some tests this time, and I will be able to run tests through the video and show everybody how things work. So be patient, keep watching, and thank you for all of your support up there, because I have lots of people supporting me, morally, mentally, and money-wise, and it's great now people that really, are getting into understanding what we're doing here. So yeah, for everybody, thank you very much. So I have a lot of people really helping out and really working, and they understand how things work also, so it's kind of nice. So, but yes, folks, that's what I am. So in a nutshell, I will be doing more tests, and we will get back to you in probably in 3 weeks and show you some live tests this time, because I will have my load generator working again, and I'm using this tiny load generator because it's only 1200 watt with 3 horse. So anybody can't bitch about that. So there you go, folks. Hopefully you have a good time in 3 weeks, and we'll talk to you again. So you have a good day, or wherever you are in the world, you have a good night.